afternoon of sports entertainment talk. Get ready for in-depth discussions on everything from the court to the field, mixed with the business and culture that orbit the sports world. Whether it's the latest blockbuster trade or the societal impact of sports, two men on with your hosts, Van Nunley and Fred Slow, with producer Isaiah Johnson on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sport.
Hey, yo! What it is, Duke City. What it do, friend of the show. Happy Friday, y'all. Welcome to the program. Welcome to Two Men On. Welcome to 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. The boys are live at the ballpark today. Gonna have a lot of fun with it right here on the concourse, right behind home plate at Rio Grande Credit Union Field at Isotopes Park. Gonna have a blast on the program today. Everything from the sports and sports adjacent world. Got a couple fun interviews for you. As always, Mr. Everything here at the Isotopes. Forrest Stolting will join us. 5 o'clock hour. We got Isotope Jack O'Loughlin. Don't call me Laughlin. Jack O'Loughlin will join us on the program. As always, we end the show with Josh Sushan. Isaiah Johnson back at the studio. How you be?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Feeling better and better as the day's going on after the schedule released.
Okay. All right. You do have your Cowboys coach's shirt on, and then we'll get to that shortly. But first and foremost, Fred's not here. It's a Fredless Friday at the ballpark, but lucky for me, I got OG friend of the show, and you know him, you love him, newsman Andy Lyman. Welcome back to the program,
hey, buddy.
My guy.
Hey. People may not, listeners can't see, but I woke up and chose violence today. I'm repping my birthplace, Tacoma, Washington today. For the time being.
So you, longtime resident of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Building a family here, raising children here, been employed here, reporting the news here. You decided to come to the ballpark in a Tacoma Rainiers hat, you fool.
Yeah. We'll see if my tires remain unslashed by the time I get out of here.
Okay. Well, a lot of people saw you walking up because you're hard not to see.
Yeah. And I really doubt they thought I was a player. I mean, I surprisingly, look at this build.
You're not in good enough shape to be a bat boy.
Not even an ump. I mean, put on a blazer and you still wouldn't think I was an ump.
Yeah, hopefully the wrong people didn't see you walking up, because that is one thing Albuquerque would do, is punish your bad decisions. And boy, did you make one today. Not only are you wearing a Tacoma Rainiers hat, who is playing the Isotopes all week here at Rio Grande Credit Union Isotopes Park, but you got some kind of stupid Tacoma shirt too.
Says keep Tacoma feared.
Nobody fears Tacoma.
Oh,
Andy.
Yes, they do. They all do.
Who? The Tiva company?
Me? No.
Fine people at Birkenstocks?
All jokes aside, when I was a kid, I had lots of friends who were not allowed to go to Tacoma. It was Tacoma and Albuquerque have a lot in common. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, so it's incredible there. It's beautiful. The food's fantastic. The people are beautiful.
Great baseball
Everyone's
team.
nice to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what you meant.
No. Funny enough, I spent a whopping the first 3 years of my life in Tacoma. That's the extent of my but that's where my family's from. So
you does that make you Andrew Dick Arnold today, since you're rocking your Tacoma Rainiers gear?
Yeah, that's a good maybe that should be my nickname for today.
Zay, I said Dicked. Andrew Dick Arnold.
Did he drop?
Okay.
Cough button.
It's a real name. I had to enunciate the T, or we're going to be in big trouble on this program.
I was reaching for the dump button.
No, we're in the clear, baby. Don't worry about it. Zay, you have on your Cowboys coach's shirt.
Yes.
So this is all in response to what you consider to be a favorable Cowboys schedule?
Oh, no, it's not favorable at all, actually.
Oh,
no,
It's
I read that they got the worst deal out of all of them.
ever. Yeah, it's actually statistically the hardest schedule ever. But
ever?
yeah, ever.
Okay.
I mean, like maybe not statistically, just but some of the stuff that they've got going on. I'll pull it up here as I'm going.
Yeah, it's like they're playing 10 teams in a row that I forget what it was that they won last year or something like that.
Yeah, it's like 4 games in a row at some point where all teams won 10 games. It's something absurd. There's a couple of things that are real absurd about their schedule, but that's fine with me because as a Cowboy fan, usually when they do well, everyone just says it's because their schedule is easy. So at this point, I like that the good teams are sprinkled all throughout the season. So there's like they're not allowed to trick me like they've tricked me before and whoop on bad teams all season and then get spanked at the end. I get like periodically very good measurement games all throughout the season. So
okay, so I've just pulled up the schedule here, Zay. Okay, You're obviously going to start 0-1. Let's get that out of the way.
False.
Okay. And then the upstart New York Giants with Malik Neighbors. He'll probably go for 300 yards receiving. Russell Wilson and Jackson Dart will combine for about 600 yards passing. That's going to be 0-2. And then now your Cowboys have to face the upstart Chicago Bears, who now they have an offensive line, and now they have even more weapons. And second-year Caleb Williams is going to go off. That's 0-3. And then they play the Green Bay Packers, obvious 0-4. They're not going to win a game until week 5.
So take a look at this here. How it goes is
okay.
The Minnesota Vikings, the Arizona Cardinals. No, 2024 was the first time that 4 teams have ever won 14 games in a season.
Okay.
So, and before then, there's only been 36 times where a single team won 14 games. But last season it happened 4 times. The Cowboys play all 4 of those teams. The Eagles, the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Vikings.
4 weeks in a row.
I don't know if it's in a row.
It is. Eagles,
yes, it is.
Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings. All right. Also, nothing to sneeze at. The Chargers right after that. And then not taking it easy on you at all, Jaden Daniels and the Washington football team right after that.
Yeah. And then you just went through the first 5, and that was the second half of the season.
Yeah, that's the second half of the season after the bye. After we left one out, too. We left out the Las Vegas Raiders of Los Angeles and Oakland and San Diego County there for a minute, too. Who's
and
Ashton Genty and the South Valley. Ashton Genty's going to run for like 200, 250 yards against the Cowboys. So that I'm seeing you start off 1-4, you get a win against. You start off 0-4, win against the Jets, win against the Panthers. Okay, 2-4, you can crawl out of this, right? Wrong. Loss to the Washington football team, loss to the Denver Broncos, probably a tie with the Cardinals, probably like 6-6, I'm assuming. And then you got your bye week. So you are 2-6-1 going into the bye week. That's not good, Zay.
Strong disagree there.
Okay.
But I'm hearing you. I'm hearing your predictions because I was very wrong last year.
Uh-huh.
But I like our season. I think that I think we'll beat the Eagles opening. I mean, all the marquee games. The only game I think we might lose, or the couple games I think we'll lose for sure, is we'll split with Philly most likely. The Chiefs.
You know, you're not allowed at the end of the season to blame this tough schedule on what's bound to happen with the Cowboys, right?
What's that?
We'll just say it was a tough schedule. That's why we didn't do good this season, right?
No. If we have a healthy Dak Prescott, they always make the playoffs. That if he stays healthy, they'll be good. Now, if he gets hurt, obviously that adds like an asterisk to every single prediction. Although Joe Milton is a backup, and who knows, I hear that a lot of GMs and coaches think that guy's a starter.
I am one of them. I think he's a stud. He's got a cannon. Throw the ball.
I just saw him flick the ball 85 yards.
Yeah, 85 yards flat-footed. That is wild.
With no warm-up. I think Dallas will win a solid 13 games, and it'll be a it'll be a great season. It'll be battle tested.
Okay. You're lucky that Sam Darnold left Minnesota. Jaden Daniels might have a sophomore slump. 2 easy wins against the Giants. They're awful. Easy win against the Cardinals. They're awful. Easy win against the Jets and Panthers. They're awful. Besides that, you're splitting the rest of these games at best.
Well, look, Cowboy fans know how to make excuses.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking right in your direction, Zay.
I thought you were a Cowboys fan, Andy.
No.
Or is it Philly?
Seahawks.
He's
better of the birds.
He's everything Seattle.
Yeah.
I'll definitely pick you guys over over Philly. Anybody over Philly.
They're your division rival, dude. Of course you're not going to pick them.
Yeah, but Philly's, they're the fan base. All teams know that their fan base sucks. Also, Howard's on the line.
I will 100% give you your flowers if the Cowboys have a winning record and go to the playoffs at the end of the year. Because except for like 5 easy wins, this schedule is daunting. 505-246-0610. Hit us up on the Sports Animal Hotline. You got a hot take, we'll put you on. And I'm assuming OG friend of the show, Howard, has a absolute in fuego take. Howard, yes. What it do?
Well, man, we tried so hard to keep him off the mind-altering substances.
Okay.
But, Zay, the Cowboys, Dan hit it on the head. We're going to win about 5 games.
Oh, no.
And you know I'm a huge Cowboy fan, guys. Come on.
Wow, 5 games.
This schedule is daunting.
Hey, Howard, don't forget, this is the same team.
I lost you guys. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
All right, Howard, you lost us. Call us back. Let's let you wrap up that thought.
Yeah, Howard.
But I 100% agree with Howard, who 100% agrees with me. Howard is often right, and when he's wrong, he's a big enough man to own up to it, and that I appreciate about the dude.
Oh, how often and how easy it is to forget that this Cowboys team, okay, as bad as they were, right, last season, they barely lost to the Commanders in the last game of the season. Commanders needed that game, but they beat the Commanders November 24th. They lost to the Bengals by a touchdown. They beat the Buccaneers, okay? They lost to San Fran by a touchdown. This was a lot better of a team than they showed. And I think this offseason, I think they got a lot better. Shoddy's not the best coach in the world, but I do think that he does have the right philosophy. Schottenheimer, that is. That's Shoddy. He was sipping out of a.
I don't think you were calling Andy Shoddy. So no.
We know Schottenheimer, he was drinking out of a cup this past weekend, and Micah and CD go, hey coach, what's in that cup? And he goes, it's a Shoddy. And I said, that's our guy.
Okay,
that's our guy.
What is a Shoddy? Is
it
like an Arnold Palmer? Oh, like a literal shot? Like
yes, he just called it a Shoddy.
Patron in the cup?
Yes, with some I think it was like some citrus, something, a lime or something, but he's a well-seasoned man. He's no Jason Garrett. That's for sure.
It's very stressful to be part of the Cowboys organization, so I understand why he's drinking on the job already. Makes sense to me. A guy who doesn't drink on the job or ever, as far as I'm concerned, professional disc golfer Forrest Stolting joins us when we get back on the program. More sports talk when we get back. You're listening to Two Men On 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is brought to you by...
Welcome back to 95.9 FM AM 610, the Sports Animal. And welcome back to Rio Grande Credit Union Field at Isotopes Park. The man himself is joining us right now. I introduced you as professional disc golfer Forrest Stolting.
Yeah, I love that intro, honestly.
You are an absolute ringer at Roosevelt Park or wherever else you play disc golf.
I like to think so. I've won a few of their, their league nights there on a handful of occasions at least.
Okay.
So it's a lot of fun to play down there. A really great group of people to hang out with for a couple hours. It's a really good course because you can play it in an infinite number of ways because most of the tee pads are round and they have 10 different baskets.
Yeah, it's cool.
So you can just kind of pick your different tee pads, your different baskets, and fire away.
So free advertisement for Play, I believe it's called Play.
Yeah, Play. Yep.
Yeah, Play, the disc golf store.
I think they just moved to San Mateo.
They made the alternate course routes. Do you have one of those key cards where you can go different directions and cross everyone up?
I've even made my own course out there a few times.
Nice.
But yeah, there's some of those alternate courses are a lot of fun. So if you're a big disc golf fan, stop by Play on San Mateo and get one of those alternate cards. So you can. There's like an ace race, long course, short course, medium course, one course for everybody, pretty much.
Does disc golf help you with your rock skipping game when you're out at the lake?
Definitely. When you're throwing your forehand on it like I do,
yeah,
absolutely, because it's the same kind of motion. You want to release the disc fairly flat most of the time, so it's certainly I can get 10 to 15 skips easy on the lake.
Oh, ladies love that. Ladies love to see a good rock skip.
Dream.
I was when as you call it, when ball golf was the golf courses were closed during COVID, I became temporarily obsessed with disc golf. It's the only thing you can do outside.
It can really hook you. And that's kind of when I got back into the game. I played it in college and, was just the average at it. Then when COVID came around, I came back to Greenville. I was in Chicago, finished my master's at Northwestern. Shout out to the Wildcats. And then my buddy was a huge disc golfer, so I hung out with him a lot and just got hooked on it quick.
You
haven't stopped since.
Let's rewind this. Hard segue from disc golf. You went to Northwestern?
I did. I got my master's of journalism from Medill at Northwestern, which is, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, journalism schools in the country.
Whoa! So you were out there in the Illinois suburbs?
I was. Yeah, I lived about So I actually lived about 4 blocks north of Wrigley Field. So like if I opened up my window in my apartment, I could hear the fans at Wrigley, which was just a dream come true to just super weird and awesome to have that ability to hear the fans from my apartment.
What years were these?
2019 to 2020.
Oh wow! So we were there around the same time. That's
you want to rattle off some names? You want to see you and Forrest were Eskimo Bros? Anybody specifically you're thinking about?
I am nowhere. I am not in Forrest's league. I can't compete.
Please.
I can't compete. So.
So, Forrest, my eternal heartfelt apologies. I missed one of my favorite nights of the year last night.
I know, Agent.
How did AAPI night go?
It went great. We had such a great atmosphere at the ballpark. We had 2 different dance schools. We had a whole bunch of drummers here. We had delicious food. Great crowd, over 7,500 fans last night. So the ballpark was raucous, and it was full of Asian American Pacific themed events throughout the entire ballpark.
I was eyeing that. Night. I think there was a pineapple burger maybe on the
the Hawaiian burger. Yeah, that's very delicious. A big old pineapple, some lettuce, tomato, whatever else you want to throw on it. It is delicious. And then my favorite, quote unquote, probably not to eat, but my favorite one to talk about.
Okay,
the sushi dog.
Sushi dog. Did you have one?
I've had one multiple times in the past.
Okay.
Yeah,
not last night.
I've had it, 4 or 5 times in the past.
Your eyes were on that Hawaiian burger.
It was actually on those chicken skewers and that orange chicken as well. My God, those were delicious. Chef Jim always overdoes himself for us on these specialty theme nights.
Hey, Executive Chef Jim Griego, friend of the show, knows how to party.
He does, man.
He has a lot of fun with his
the
food dishes, dude. It's a creative guy.
I had some French toast in there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, for the press box meal, he on day games he always gives us French toast, bacon, eggs, hash browns, and man, that French toast never misses. I'm telling you that right now.
I feel like you never see him more excited than the day that he's unveiling that menu each year.
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah, come March, man, that's like his Christmas, right?
Yeah.
No doubt.
All his 5 or 6 new specialty food items he brings out each year. It's a great day, and a day you don't want to eat lunch because you're going to get full around noon in the third floor club lounge.
No, what's your go-to? I mean, obviously we're spoiled. We got all the food up in the press box, but what's your go-to here on the concourse? What's your favorite thing to grab?
I think it's a pig candy without a doubt.
Oh yeah,
pig candy. It's been around for I think 2 years now, I believe.
Yeah,
maybe even 3.
I think this is the 3rd year.
Yeah. So that has been a staple in my opinion since day one. It came here. Just absolutely delicious pork. Got some what is it? Some kind of glaze.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, maple syrup glaze and then some red chili flakes on there. Sweet, savory, all in one bite. Can't stop eating them. I'll tell you that much.
You guys still have that boozy ice cream?
No, we don't have the boozy ice cream anymore, but we have some new milkshakes that are on the concourse right now. So we also have a brownie ice cream.
All right.
We have nacho ice cream with wafers that are dusted in cinnamon sugar,
loaded with nacho cheese.
I won't go that far. You dip them in ice cream with some chocolate syrup on there. Delectable.
Andy,
there's so many good things at the ballpark to eat.
Have you, my personal favorite, and I always go back to it. Have you had the yakisoba noodles in the left field corner?
Oh, I get it almost every time I'm here.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's not just ballpark good. It's like big picture good.
Yes.
I love them so much.
Worth every penny there. I mean, and it's loaded. I mean, you could feed 2 people with that.
It's a double mealer.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, not for me. I usually just get it all down. But
Andy, I don't know how good your vision is, but I'm looking out towards right center field, and those flags aren't moving.
Man.
So to me, that says, correct me if I'm wrong, there's going to be not only fireworks on the field, but fireworks in the air tonight for us.
No, you got that right. We have a big fireworks night planned ahead. We got a Little League parade pregame as well. Topes went on a walk-off double last night by Ryan Ritter.
So sweet.
So the team's rolling right now. Lineup is looking stacked, so we're looking forward to another fun night at the ballpark, both on and off the field.
Zay, can you get the audio from that walk-off? That'll be our Isham Dental today. I love that so much.
Yeah, great call by Josh last night on that.
Little League night, fireworks tonight. Get here. Gates open early for the Little Leaguers.
5 o'clock, yep.
Going to be an absolute blast. And again, City Roots tomorrow.
Yeah, so it'll be our inaugural City Roots game because the first one in April got snowed out of all things in Albuquerque. So we pushed everything back to tomorrow night. We'll be giving out 1,500 Duke City flags. We'll be wearing the Duke City jerseys and the 505 hats for the first time in team history.
Sweet.
Which all that merchandise is in the pro shop. Hats, jerseys, T-shirts, anything you can imagine is in there. Just stop on by and see our manager, Jordan. She'll take care of you. And then fireworks again tomorrow night as well.
Boom.
And a Little League parade.
I've seen a lot of the 505 hats around town.
Oh, man, how fresh are they?
You know I get around.
Oh, you're in many circles.
I'm out and about. I'm a man about town.
Yeah, you're a man of the people.
I see a lot of the 505 hats. So
that's what I want to hear.
They're flying off the shelves.
I've been flying off the shelves. So we're looking forward to seeing them all across Albuquerque and New Mexico.
I'm assuming you can contact the interwebs and get you a hat, but you can come here right in the pro shop on the
right in the pro shop, watch the game, or you can stop by the pro shop online. Just go to abqsoaps.com, go to the navigation bar up top, click on that little pro shop icon, and boom, it's right there.
Although if you come in person, you can make sure it actually fits.
Yeah, that's nice.
That helps.
Yeah,
that helps.
It is fun. We do have fitted and unfitted, so if you're not a fitted guy, suggest that strap.
Fitted or nothing.
Oh yeah.
Fitted or trucker hat. There's no in between for me.
I kind of agree with that.
That's it.
But there's a few exceptions to the rule, I would say, depending on the hat.
Like a fedora.
Yeah,
a big
of
fedora
course.
guy.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you know me.
I've got such a gigantic head. Sometimes I have to go with the flex fit.
Oh,
Which is
a poor man's fitted.
Yeah.
You know.
I got the hair on this big old head of mine too. So sometimes if I wear it down, it's a different fit. If I wear it back, it's a different fit. You just never know.
I mean, you could get a hat a size larger and just flip that ponytail back in there.
No one would ever see it.
No,
just like a size 8 or something.
Sure. You could wear Andy's hat and put your hair in Andy's hat.
There you go.
Businessman Forrest. Yeah.
And then a big one on Sunday, day baseball on Sunday, 1:35 first pitch, Military Appreciation Day.
Yeah, we'll have a flyover. We're going to have some model submarines out front of the gates for fans to check out as well. All military folks can bring the military ID and get discounted tickets. Obviously, we'll be honoring the military throughout the entire game. And a little surprise for everybody, Dylan Storm won't be there. So your one and only will be emceeing on Sundays for the entire game.
Forrest Stolting rocking the crowd on Sunday?
Yeah, I did my first MC job a little bit Tuesday night. I did 3 or 4 promotions in games. So looking forward to doing it again on Sunday.
So I got to ask a very important question.
Yeah, what you got?
What did Brandon Ortega do wrong that you send him out of town every Friday when we're here?
That's a great question, man. The man, he's busy, right? Yeah, he's a man of the people, I guess, too, right? He's in California for a wedding this weekend, so
new Orbit Wrangler, Brandon Ortega, OG
shout out.
How's he doing? He's getting to sea legs yet?
Oh, I think so. He's been honestly. It seems every day he's in and out of the office. He's got appearances left and right. He's making great connections, so he's doing a great job so far with us here at the Isotopes, and we're looking forward to seeing him continue to grow in that role.
That's a good get for you guys.
Oh, it's a fantastic get. I mean, because he's just a great human being, first of all, but, he works hard, dedicated to Albuquerque, so we're very lucky to have him on our staff.
Forrest Stolting of your Albuquerque Isotopes. Anything else for the friends of the show before we let you go?
6:30 tonight, 6:30 tomorrow, 1:30 on Sunday. Come out and enjoy some baseball and some fireworks and some Military Appreciation Day and City Roots tomorrow.
Well, that's going to be a big one. That's historic.
First time in franchise history, folks.
Very
Be
exciting.
a part of history.
And if it snows, we got other problems. So.
Yeah, oh my
God.
God.
If it snows again, we got way bigger problems if it snows tomorrow.
Find a shelter.
Forrest, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Andy, thank you so
us.
much. Zay, me, and you and Andy will be talking a little NBA basketball when we get back. And by the way, Howard, if you want to call back, we will take your call to finish your thought. More sports and sports-adjacent content right here on 2 Men On, right here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. Welcome back, Duke City. Welcome back to Two Men On. Welcome back to 95.9 FM AM 610, the Sports Animal. Welcome back to Rio Grande Credit Union Field at Isotopes Park. Having a blast today on the call. And of course, with my buddy Andy Lyman.
Yo.
How you feeling today, buddy?
I'm feeling better than I was this morning.
Okay.
Last time you saw me, I had about 12 beers too many. And,
oh, man.
At this age, that sort of carries over a couple of days.
Yeah, you get the 2-day instead of the 2-hour hangover now.
Look, things are looking up. Today's my 16th wedding anniversary. So,
congratulations,
sucker.
So, yeah, for sure. Now. Yeah. One of you are an absolute prize.
Yeah.
A beautiful person.
You've met both of us, so
mentally, physically, and emotionally. And the other one is Andy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And speaking of the call, the friends of the show are just jumping me on the phone line.
Okay.
They're just telling me how I'm so delusional and how the Cowboys aren't going to win. Like, it's shaping up to be one of those summers, and I love
it. They don't even want to come on the program. They just want to call in and roast you.
So it was right before the 4th segment, so I directed some of them to call back later. So I might have impending doom here.
All right, we'll open up the phone lines if you want to roast Zay and his Dallas Cowboys, as they will be going 5-12, maybe 4-13 next year. It's gonna be a rough year once I saw that schedule. Not a rough year for perennial MVP front runner Nikola Jokic, who forced Game 7 once again with the help of Jamal Murray finally, and a ragtag bunch of nobodies who probably wouldn't make any other rosters. What he's doing as a professional basketball player is insanely impressive. Forcing another Game 7. Zay, we all called it. We said they were going to win at home. Do they have a chance Game 7?
So, of course, they have a chance because they have Jokic, as you just said. And, I mean, OKC, they're a very, very solid team, but the Nuggets have the best player on the court. But one thing to note is that although Aaron Gordon had a bad game, he tweaked his hamstring at the end of his last one. So Aaron Gordon, with I think it was around like a minute 30 left, something like that, he tweaked his hamstring and he was limping. And I don't know what his status is, because with those hamstrings, I mean, like Denver would have to play smart. So it's like, okay, yes, we need him, but those hamstrings, if you push it too far, they'll just get worse. So then if it gets worse, then you potentially lose him for the next series if you guys win. But Aaron Gordon's a big part of that team. He is the most athletic player on the court when everyone's playing. He's not the best player by any means, but he's been the most clutch these playoffs. So in a Game 7, a guy like Aaron Gordon has been the guy to hit the three-pointer that they need. So for multiple reasons, that is something that I do look at with Denver, but hopefully Murray feels better and maybe he can pull out one of those magical Jamal Murray 40-point games, Joker 40 points. Because if that happens, they guarantee to win. Like if there is some line, Jamal Murray scores 30+, Denver, there's no way they lose.
Nikola Jokic, 29 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists. Really turned it on late, too. So he can put the team on his back. Oklahoma City has to have a sizable lead against Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets if they want to win tomorrow. Because if it's close, Jokic will take over the game and win during clutch time.
Yeah, and he's very good. He's very good at front running. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
Sure.
He and Luka are two guys that play the game very, very slow. They take their time. They let things develop. You can't rush them. They don't rush anybody else. And everything is very last second with them. So when the Nuggets do have that lead, then yeah, they just give it to Jokic. He just waits and waits and waits until about 10 seconds. And then he figures out what to do with the ball, whether that be throw up a turnaround fadeaway from 3 or hit somebody cut into the basket. Post somebody up. It's just a formula they've got down. But
it's wild that the best player on the planet, Nikola Jokic, and I don't think there's an argument, looks like he's playing in like negative 1.25 speed. He looks like he's playing in flip-flops. It's so effortless and so slow, and he just keeps doing the right thing, making the right decision over and over and over again. Had the ball in his hand 95% of possessions, 1 turnover.
Wow.
So I'm just confused. You guys keep talking about this Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yes.
Do you mean the Seattle Supersonics?
The Seattle Supersonics to you, Andy. Yes, that's who we are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Friend of the show, if you're just joining us, Andy Lyman on the program today.
Insufferable today.
Insufferable, the worst kind of Andy Lyman we've ever had on the program. Had the audacity to show up
with a big old R on my hat.
Tacoma Rainiers hat.
Stands for a really awesome city.
Even though Andy's lived in Albuquerque for about 35 more years than he has
by
Tacoma and Seattle.
Yep, I could. Well, to be fair, I go back a lot. I visit a lot.
Yeah.
But no, I have not lived there full time since I was 3 years old.
So
pretty long time.
What are you trying to say?
I didn't even mean it like that. I meant that's a very young age.
Yeah.
Sorry, did not mean to throw the Andy stray.
We're going to take a quick break to fix a quick tech diff, and we will be right back with more NBA playoff talk.
Alrighty. Sounds like a plan.
This report is sponsored by Staples.
Welcome back, friend of the show. You're listening to 2 Men On, and you are listening to 95.9 FM AM 610, The Sports Animal. Thank you for being a friend of the show. However you are being a friend of the show, whether it's live on 95.9 FM AM 610, The Sports Animal, talkabq.com, the KNML app, the TuneIn app, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcast, Instagram Live, YouTube Live, Facebook Live. However you listen, thank you for being a friend of the show. Van Nunley here, Andy Lyman right next to me, and unfortunately stuck back at the studio, not in this beautiful, ever slight breezy, lower 80s weather here at Isotopes Park. Zay Johnson.
It's 13 Wednesday, Johnson, to you.
Okay, that is bold. Get some skin in the game. I want to see that bet slip after week 17. That's what I want to see. So before you left, thanks for staying with us. Little tech diff, little fire we put out real quick. Hopefully just a tiny hiccup. When we left, you were talking about Nikola Jokic's greatness and the way he's putting this team on his back with a little help from Jamal Murray every few games. And they're doing it without a head coach.
Yeah.
This is wild.
Yeah,
that they have a chance to go to the conference finals, and they're doing it a couple weeks after they fired their head coach. This is insane.
Well, that just goes to show, like, coaches are very, very important. But when you have veterans and also guys that are very high IQ, and great team chemistry, you can figure out. You can almost, a coach's dream, a coach that's doing things the right way. And I think you can honestly go like to any type of leadership position, whether it's like a parent, a teacher, whenever they have to have a substitute. But you would like to ideally have things so disciplined that if you were to just remove yourself, that the show would still be able to go on without you being there. Like, when you get to that point and you're at the end of the season, you should just be kind of monitoring, but the team should understand how things are supposed to be ran. And then you Russ over there, you got Jokic. I'd consider Michael Porter Jr. almost a veteran at this point.
He can go. Yeah.
Yeah. Jamal Murray. I mean, they've all been there. So
that was absolutely never the case when I was in school and we had a substitute. I don't think it ever went off without a hitch.
Well, yeah, because you just watched 45 minutes of National Geographic on that giant metal rolling cart with a tube TV on top of it. Yeah, that's why.
Well, ours was the projector screen, but those were the best days.
Ooh,
that's a little projector. Well, I'm sure you guys saw the overhead with the clear plastic, and they'd write it on with the see-through marker,
the transparency things.
That gives me PTSD just thinking about it.
I'm from the wheel-in, the giant charcoal metal cart.
Those were the VCRs where the tape pops up, not even out.
Exactly that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like when I went to a nicer school for a semester before I obviously got kicked out because of who and what I am, they even had like two TVs mounted in the corner.
Huh.
Like that's when I knew. I was like, dang. It was a nice class right here.
So they
don't even have to wheel in the television. It's just already there in the corner.
I think I got that. I think I went to school eventually like that. We watched the Channel 1, I think is what it was called, the news.
Yeah.
The kids knew anyway. Yeah. No flat screen TVs. No project. My kids have some fancy stuff. But Zay, you're right. Back to your original point. I think that's exactly right. That that's what you want in a team, right? Is to say. Like I'm just here for guidance ultimately.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And also not to bring us back to where we were. I do feel like my generation is in it's like we were in the sweetest transition. Like when I was 15, we switched to the actual having iPhones. We went from dry erase boards to the smart board. Right, the smart board. So you guys, I know you guys weren't able to have those in classroom.
My kids have
Thanks
those.
for rubbing it in. Literally, my kids had those. Yeah, kid.
She's around the same age range. So the smart boards. There's definitely a sweet period.
Promethean board.
Yep. Yeah. Trying to remember that. Yeah.
You're welcome. Put some respect on that board's names, eh?
But the Nuggets have their veterans, and I think that whoever the GM is, I'm sure he knew this. He was like, these guys can go without a coach and they won't fall apart. or we can just give credit to the interim head coach. But I've seen too many clips of like Russ and Jokic drawing up plays, leading the timeouts.
Or
so I know they're involved.
Or hear me out, got better. Addition by subtraction, just like the Steelers are going to do next year by getting rid of George Pickens. The Nuggets did the same thing by getting rid of Nick Nurse.
I think it was coming for a second there. But so I think it's Nuggets are a good team. But like I said, losing Aaron Gordon, I mean, that hurts. That hurts a lot. He didn't have that good of a game, and they still won. But if I had to put my money on it, I would bet on OKC to get this win.
I think OKC going to be back at home, one of the best home court advantages in the NBA. Their fans are insane. They won't sell any tickets to Nuggets fan. If there's Nuggets fans there, there's going to be like 6 or 7 of them up in the nosebleed seats. It's going to be loud. It's going to be wild. And I think the Thunder are going to win by 20. I don't think it's going to be close. Wow. I don't think it's going to be close. I think they're going to blow them out of the.
We'll know it pretty quickly. Like, we'll know right at halftime, because remember, there was a game earlier in these playoffs. The Thunder scored like 80 points in the first half.
Yeah.
So we'll know relatively quickly.
They have recently beat them by 43 points.
Yeah.
It is recent.
Yeah, it was the Nuggets. Yeah, it was a series.
More NBA talk in the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to talk a little Brock Purdy in the 5 o'clock hour. Josh Sushan joins us at 6 for Crosstalk. And when we get back, new friend of the show, Jack O'Loughlin joins us. Isotopes pitcher. Stoked for this one. You're listening to 2 Men On, 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is brought to you by Malloy Los Lunas.
Start summer off right with huge savings at Malloy Chevrolet in Los Lunas. How about driving a new 2025 Chevrolet Trax for as low as $284 a month? Don't worry about your credit. We'll work hard to get you approved. Call 505-866-3000 now. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. Number 226-179 with approved credit. CD voter.
All right, traffic right now. We've still got that crash southbound Coors near Paseo. Watch yourself going through that area. I-25, both directions near the construction zone. You're going to see quite a bit of slowdowns going through there. Traffic also continues to move slow, headed west on Alameda. You're going to see those slowdowns as you approach 2nd Street. They're going to last until Coors. Also, westbound on I-40 right now between the interchange and Rio Grande, dealing with some slowdowns going through there.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends June 14th. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
If you see an accident, call the Traffic Tracker hotline at 767-9167. Brought to you by American Home Furniture and Mattress, serving the community since 1936. World class, local style. I'm Michael Carlisle from the 96.3 News Radio KKOB Traffic Center.
Whew, the temperatures are rising, and so are trade-in values during the Summer Trade-a-thon at Petrie Buick GMC. Through May 31st, you can turn your old ride into a hot deal on a new Buick or GMC because your current vehicle is worth more.
Boys are live from the ballpark, Rio Grande Credit Union Field at Isotopes Park. Van Nunley, Andy Lyman, Zay Johnson back at the studio. We're going to kick the can down the road one more segment, and we'll be joined by Isotopes pitcher Jack O'Loughlin.
All righty.
Team meetings, Zay, important stuff. You don't just drop everything and come on this program like Andy Lyman did. You got to finish the meeting.
You're assuming I have a lot of other stuff going on.
Semi-retired.
Man of leisure.
Your beard's getting impressive, dude.
Well, impressive or out of control.
Since you were fired in disgrace from your last job, you've really let it go.
I've let everything go.
Yeah, not just the beard, like mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, a lot too. Yeah. But we are glad you're here joining us, Andy. Thank you for stepping in for Fred. He's on assignment in beautiful and historic Philadelphia, PA, which I was told earlier stands for Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Why not PE? It's the first two letters. It's the first two letters of state. Why not PE? It'd be so easy.
That's also a valid point. You think Fred's going to get a cheesesteak out there? He's been there. He's
a meal. He's eating nothing but cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
Is that how it really is out there? There's a bunch of different just cheesesteak places, or?
Oh, well, everybody obviously has the best one.
Yeah.
Oh, every place you go has the world's #1 cheesesteak voted on by somebody.
I think it's sort of like green chili here, where like there's the OG legit places, and then there's every airport restaurant, everyone's got their own version of it, I'm sure.
I thought you were going to say, and then there's jalapenos.
Yeah.
Well,
or that.
Those exist too. They're just not as good. Game 6 tonight in New York. The Knickerbockers host the Celtics of Boston. I have the Knickerbockers taking this one handily.
Just because you like to say Knickerbockers.
Oh, it's a fantastic word. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It could get me in trouble if I mispronounce it, but I love saying it so much. Madison Square Garden going to be absolutely lit. Opposite of Oklahoma City, which Oklahoma City fans will not let anyone else into their arena.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden will take anyone if you can afford the ticket.
Yeah. Or sneak in somehow.
Or just like a walk in with Timothy Chalamet.
I don't know. Don't they have I think New York has a new toll charge now or something. Wonder if all those Jersey folks are going to stay home and watch from home.
Oh, that's crazy.
You know about this?
I do not. I'm unfamiliar.
With
the tolling process of New York City, Andy.
They added a new toll. Well, this is what I spend my time doing these days. Look up local traffic patterns of New York. They added a new toll fee or something so that people coming from Jersey so they're trying to cut down congestion in the city.
Okay.
I love it.
Cutting down congestion is always nice.
We're doing pretty good here in Albuquerque. People complain about the traffic here.
It's nothing.
When they complain about the traffic here, it is obvious you've never driven anywhere else in your adult life.
Yep.
I will say Paseo does suck sometimes.
Yeah, but at least it kind of moves. I mean, we're talking, there's other cities where you literally
Oh, yeah.
Go to LA and an hour-long commute becomes 3.5 hours during rush hour.
That's one of the scariest things about living like in the suburbs of Chicago. Mr. Forrest, if he was still here, he could attest to that. Because if he was living by Wrigley Field and he was going to Northwestern, that means he was having to make that drive. But also, those were COVID years, so maybe not.
In Albuquerque, everything takes 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Or less.
Yeah.
Unless you are rush hour driving, going west over the river.
Yep.
Yes.
Then for like 30 to 45 minutes, there is something that resembles traffic. Even just a little bit resembles traffic.
Yeah, you're never stuck. You're never not moving for more than a couple of minutes at a time, right?
And usually the reason is why it takes so long is people don't leave at proper times. Yeah, I see people flying by or trying to change lane in traffic just to get to the next stoplight faster. I'm like, you should have left 5 minutes earlier, dude.
That is such an Albuquerque thing, is trying to use your car as a time machine.
For sure.
Like,
Yeah, definitely that's a me thing as well.
You're not going to go 5 miles over the speed limit and try to pass people and go lane shift, and make back those 10 minutes that you left too late.
You're going to get me on my
going to happen.
On
That's
my
not how it
soapbox.
works.
Lead and coal now are timed so that if you're speeding, you'll automatically get a red light.
Yes.
So now I'm just mad at everybody else that speed. I'm like, you're making this worse for everybody.
Correct. You're ruining the flow of traffic.
Also, a little throwback to your game prediction, Van. I think, Andy, you're also going Knicks.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I disagree. I'm going to go Boston here. And I think this is one of those things where, as good as Tatum is, I think it overshadows how good the Celtics are. And like Derek White, I think he's elevated himself to score 25 plus, 30 plus multiple times, enough for me to be convinced that if he needs to do it, he can do it. They still have Jaylen Brown. That's a very, very good team. And I think Tatum going down, like the Achilles injury, it's not the same as a guy on your team rolling his ankle. Like when your teammate pops his Achilles, it feels like, like an emptiness. Like, you feel like you have to go out there and play for somebody. You have to go, play on his behalf. And I think that's what we saw in the last game. And I think that's what we're going to see this game as well.
So you're saying it's going to be like the sick kid in the hospital, like, I'm doing this for you, kid.
Yeah, and they're going out for him. It's like Rocky when his wife's in the bed and she's like, go fight. And I think that's what Derek White was told by Tatum. I think Tatum sent him a text message, probably something in the group text. It was like, I want you guys to go out there and fight. And they went out there and had their best game of the series.
You saying they're going to have a win one for the Gipper moment? Like this is the rallying cry? Tatum's Achilles is what makes him start playing better?
Yeah, and as good as the Knicks look, I'm sorry, they still have that cloud. I have to see it be 100% removed. I still believe the Knicks have that cloud over them where, like, the worst thing that could happen to them can happen to them. I sound crazy saying that in the Cowboys jacket, but I think it's a similar kind of thing. Like, I think it's almost in the same ballpark where they just have really bad luck, and just that what you don't expect to happen would happen. And I think Tatum going down, everyone thinking, oh, the Celtics are for sure going to lose now, and then they go mess around and win, it would not shock me at all.
Well, they went 50% from three-point last game. They made 10 more three-pointers than their opponent. It doesn't matter if Jason Tatum's there or not. If you continue to do that, you're going to beat anyone.
Exactly, and that's what they've done all season. Pritchard, he could mess around, hit 5 threes. So I think it all depends on if the shot's falling. And like I said, I think mentally seeing Tatum go down, I think that locked everybody in. And I think they're going to come out hitting threes again, and then they're going to close this thing out in 7.
So, and also you're saying like the Madison Square Garden crowd, a bunch of angry, drunk Irish gingers in the front row.
Throwing batteries.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's Philadelphia. Might be a better home court advantage instead of a bunch of movie stars and play actors and musicians in the front row at Madison Square Garden.
I mean, yeah, I think at Madison Square Garden, it almost doesn't matter. I think they are in a unique position where they can't say, oh, we're at home, so we're going to do better. At least not if there's some sort of a star in the building. Not that Celtics have any just for sure stars, but I do think something about Madison Square Garden statistically brings the best out of people.
Was the Tracy Jordan incident at a Knick game? We started throwing up all over the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think New York got a wild card factor in themselves.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, throwing out Charles Oakley, Tracy Morgan throwing up everywhere.
He could come back like a week later.
What's her name? The Kardashian girl. What's the youngest Kardashian?
Kylie.
Kylie having to explain basketball to Timothy Chalamet. Like it's not an ideal environment. Like it's like the most historic and honored venue to play basketball at, unless you're the home court New York Knicks. Like, their own fans, like the facility and the organization prices out real fans. Like you want the guys who are going to have a once in a lifetime playoff moment, yelling their hearts out, supporting their team. But instead you got a bunch of movie stars and musicians, social media influencers showing up and sitting in the first 3, 4, 5 rows, not even paying attention to the game.
Yeah, and I think when the Celtics come back and close out this series, we really are going to need to check on guys like Jake, Young Castro. We're going to have to check on him because a lot of these Knicks fans are Buffalo Bills fans, and it is not going to be a good feeling to watch both their teams choke it. But I think that's what's about to happen, and I will get some skin in the game on that.
Hard disagree. They're going to do what they need to do to win. They're going to fight tough at home. And Jalen Brunson, I mean, he's that dude. Like, he does not scare in the fourth quarter, and you need a guy like that on your team, especially like when you're playing the world champs with or without Jason Tatum, with or without an Achilles tendon. Like, this doesn't matter because the Celtics are still deep enough and still good enough to bring some tiny white guy off the bench who can pop three-pointers better than Tatum. Like, it's addition by subtraction. Like, they got a bunch of dorks who might not make some other team, but they can shoot threes. So welcome to the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, the Knicks are favored by 2.5. That's a pretty close spread.
2.5 isn't.
It's not super.
Yeah, but it's close enough for considering you're at home in the playoffs to close out a series without your best player. Yeah. Jason Tatum by himself should have swung the spread over the other way.
You see this. You know, nowadays there's just so much AI. I guarantee the Celtics have a winning record without Jason Tatum.
You're thinking they are better without Jason Tatum.
Well, no, not better without him, but I don't think that when he's out they just lose. Like, I think that they have guys that can fill in that role. And also, I mean, Jalen Brunson's not the type of guy to sleep on it. But I think that a lot of teams are like, oh, no, Tatum, you know, we got him. And then they come out and it's like, no, you don't.
If the Nuggets lose Jokic, they miss the playoffs completely.
Oh, yeah.
If the Celtics lose Tatum, they're fine.
Yeah, the Celtics are 10-2 without Tatum.
See? They're better without him.
And last year, they were 7-1 without him. So they'll be just fine. But Jalen Brunson, he might be that guy. I was talking about the cloud that hovers over the Knicks. He might be that guy because when I think that cloud's about to appear in the games earlier in this series, he's coming up with big time shots. And I'm like, okay, the Knicks have not had a guy that was hitting those types of big time shots. People are saying he might be the best Knick ever.
Okay, now that's insane. That's just crazy talk. But he does it for a few more years. We could have that conversation. But the dude is clutch. He doesn't scare. He steps up when your team needs it the most. Before the tip-off of last game, I don't know what the tally is now, but he was the all-time single playoff season leading scorer in the fourth quarter. And I know those kinds of statistics are dumb. Like, you know, he has the highest three-point percentage on days where it rains outside and the humidity is – that's all kind of stupid. But that's insanely clutch that he has more fourth-quarter points than Jordan, more fourth-quarter points than Kobe at this point of a playoffs. That's incredible.
Yeah, I saw it. I think it was like over was it a 12-game period or something like that? He had 111. And the next three were Kobe, which was funny because those were during the Shaq years. So I'm like, yeah, who got carried?
The doors are open here at Rio Grande Credit Union Field at Isotopes Park. Little League teams galore, Isotopes fans galore, a lot of smiling faces.
It's cooking now.
It is literally cooking because I could smell the green chili Phillies cooking right across from us.
How are the Isotope Phillies?
I would recommend you come back and have one.
Yeah.
Okay. Deal.
Sounds like a deal to me. Allegedly, when we get back, Isotopes pitcher Jack O'Loughlin. You're listening to 2 Men On, 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal.
This report is brought to you by...
Did you want...
All right, then, welcome back to the program. Welcome back to 94.9 FM and IM 610, the Sports Animal. Jack, how'd I do?
That's pretty good.
Pretty good?
That was pretty good. One of the better ones I've heard.
Good, not great is what the feeling I got from that is. Isotopes pitcher Jack O'Loughlin is joining us on the program. First time on the program. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
How does the desert landscape here in Albuquerque stack up to back home?
It's a little bit different. Like where I'm from originally, like Adelaide, South Australia, it's a pretty dry heat anyway, so it's really hot normally through the summer. I'd say the biggest difference here is like the altitude.
Okay.
Like
sure.
I'm sea level.
Yeah.
I'm also like nowhere near the beach. Like growing up my whole life, I've been no further than probably 20 minutes from the beach.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, now I'm a state away.
July is summertime.
Yes. Yeah, that's a big difference. I think my parents right now are going into winter.
Yeah.
Or getting pretty close to going into winter, so it's like
my wife's got a cousin from Australia, and she'll go down for Christmas, and they're on the beach. Like,
yeah. I've had some hot Christmases.
Yeah. Incredible. I grew up on the Gulf Coast of Texas, so a 5-minute walk to the coast. I wasn't on the nice part, but at least I was close to the coast. And
the beach is the beach.
The humidity is unbearable. Like being up here, like, you got to learn to breathe a little different. Like, I'm sure your pitching style changes a little bit when you're here. We'll get into that later. But like, what was like the big adjustment in your day-to-day being at this altitude, not pitching?
Definitely like just how tired you get and worn out you can get like in a quicker pace. But I was fortunate, like last year I was in Vegas with the Aviators, so I kind of got used to this league a little bit.
Okay.
So like, and then spring training's in Phoenix, so you get a chance to like adapt slowly instead of just going from like sea level all the way to 5,000 feet like that. I couldn't imagine doing that, but then I noticed like you tire yourself out on the field a little bit like throughout the early part of the season, and by June, July, you're used to it. Like it's no problem. Like it's almost nice that like we're at the highest altitude and everything is almost down. Like, we go out to Tacoma and the Texas teams, and it's like it's almost like a refreshing time when you go down there.
Well, and then conversely to that, like when you're on the bump pitching at this elevation, like does your approach change? Does your style change? Does the way you attack batters change?
Yeah, in terms a little bit, like how you would pitch stays pretty similar. It's just it's making smaller adjustments that a big thing is like the ball doesn't move the same at altitude. They say it doesn't move as much.
Yeah.
So you're just making a little bit more of an adjustment to maybe where you start stuff in terms, whereas if you're at sea level, you have more room to work with, like stuff will move and you be more fortunate sometimes.
Like the air is literally thinner. Like it's not going to grab those laces. It's not going to grab the seams.
Definitely. Like I'd say like a big pitch at altitude that you notice the most on is honestly like trying to throw like a backdoor slider.
Yes.
When you almost need it to catch.
Yes.
It just doesn't.
It's like hey, you didn't get that extra 4 inches. You don't even touch black anymore. So I want to talk about like your baseball journey, because some great ball players from Australia, but not predominantly what Australia is known for. Like, what was your segue into the world of baseball? When did you catch the bug?
So my dad's from New Zealand.
Okay.
So growing up, he played softball as well.
Okay.
So he played rugby and softball. But then when he moved to Australia, he started playing some softball, and that's where he got into baseball through people that also played a bit of both. And then as I was growing up, it was kind of just like that was our weekends normally. I started playing junior baseball, and it was just like it's all she wrote. Like from then on, it was just baseball. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I was playing as much as I could. I'd play 2 to 3 games on a weekend. I would play every tournament I could. Like, it was from a young age. Like, almost as soon as I could walk, I was around baseball and I was off.
How long did it take for your friends to quit giving you crap about not playing rugby or Aussie rules football?
Honestly, I never really had that.
Okay. Because you're 6.5 foot tall, so
it definitely
people aren't
helps.
not going to say a lot to you anyway.
It definitely helps. Like, I would play a lot of, like, when we would have, like, we call them like knockout tournaments through school.
Okay.
And like I would play all the other sports.
Sure.
So it wasn't like I didn't play. I just didn't play like what we call like club sports.
Right on.
With those other sports.
Van mentioned Aussie rules football. I mean, I guess two-part question here is are you seeing more Americanized sports happening in Australia these days? And why isn't there an Australian rules baseball? Or is that just cricket?
Nice.
I guess like the Australian rules football is AFL is just it's a crazy game.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you guys have seen any of it.
It's all the rough parts of every.
It is like
sure.
Like they went out and took almost the hardest parts of every sport and just put it together. Like the amount those guys run, they're like soccer players. They play a similar formation to soccer, yet you can hit somebody
as if they're wearing pads when they're not wearing pads.
Not wearing pads.
yeah.
And they play just as long games as almost like a basketball match.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty grueling sport.
Are you seeing more American sports pop up like baseball and just American football?
Honestly, not really. Like I know there's like an American Football League.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a professional league of it. Baseball's at a weird place in Australia. Like it's a tough. Like even in like as you see it in America, there is like 3-4 major sports. So in Australia, we kind of have those 4 major sports as well.
Yeah,
it's Australian rules football, cricket, soccer, and rugby. So it's like for having a 5th major sport when we don't really have the population to do that, is where that probably brings in a little bit more of a tougher time for baseball to actually develop the way that we'd like it to.
That makes sense. Sounds like a Ted Lasso.
Another
show.
Crossover.
Yeah.
Okay. Another crossover. How often you going home?
Normally I go home every off season.
Yeah.
It just normally depends how long I'm home for. Last year I was only home for like 6 weeks. I spent some time here training here, had some weddings, so I kind of just hung out in the U.S., went home for Christmas, New Year's, a little bit of January, and then came back over to get ready for spring training. But in the other years, like I'm going home a week or 2 after the season, and I'm going to be home until I decide to come back to get ready for spring training.
What do you miss about when you go back home?
Ooh, I'd say I miss my boys.
Yeah,
the guys I grew up with, like
nice.
They're the guys that like I spend a lot of time with. My best mate I train with. He trains with me for baseball, working out. Like I spend almost every day with him, so it's like a big change to come over here. But then probably the luxury of being able to go to the beach.
Sure.
Like might not be going down and take a swim, but like you can go down the beach. There's nice areas. Like it's relaxing.
You miss the meat pies?
I do.
Yeah.
Meat pie and a sausage roll. I've made sausage rolls when I'm here before. They were okay.
Yeah.
They could have been better.
Sure.
It wasn't like at home. I've never tried to make a meat pie here, but
there's something different. You know, we have like chicken pot pies. That's the closest thing we've got, but these are things it's like a handheld.
It's like think of it like a small, like a chicken pot pie. Like it's got the pastry, it's closed, but the filling is
like a beef stew.
Yeah, or like you can have like steak and mushroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they make like nowadays like they put everything in them. Like there's chicken curries.
That would be my jam right there. Yeah, I would mess with the curry.
Holler at your boys when you want to open an Australian restaurant in Albuquerque.
Let's go.
We've talked about this before that we don't know because like I was in New York playing I think it was in like 18 or 19. We had a few Australian guys when I was with the Tigers, and we found a like an Australian like restaurant that's what they like did, and we went there, and it was just dead.
Yeah,
and like being here for so long, like meeting so many people and guys, like a lot of guys don't like to like expand, I guess, in a way on what they eat. Like,
well, there is one place you might like. It's got a bloomin' onion.
Oh, good Lord.
I know where this is going.
Oh, God. Dude, are you more comfortable like when you're walking outside of the city center here in the States and every animal isn't trying to constantly kill you everywhere you go? The deadliest animal of every genre of animal,
We've
except
got
for shark, is
but then we've still got sharks.
You got them, all of them.
We have
and
them
you
all.
got just the second deadliest, not the most deadliest.
Yeah.
I went there probably almost 25 years ago now, and some guy was telling me it's like you don't have to worry about the spiders. It was some octopus, and I forget all the stuff.
Blue ring
it was like
octopus?
it'll tell me about what it'll do to your vocal cords, and I'm like, wow, man, I'm never going swimming in Australia.
It's like, it's a weird, like, I guess like you see a lot more of like, because they have like the blue bottle jellyfish and stuff like that. Swarms come through. That's more on the East Coast.
Okay.
Where I'm from, we don't normally have problems like jellyfish and octopus. You get a few shark sightings, but I guess like shark attacks themselves are pretty small.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's where I was too, like Surfers Paradise, Brisbane,
up on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But the drop bears, though, did anybody warn you about the drop bears?
The drop bears? Koala?
No.
Koala? I actually said that to someone the other day.
I love it. It's so funny.
It's a I guess it's a tale that has become very well known, and it has been around for so long. They call it the koala, but when people not from Australia, I don't know where it started or when it started, but they always tell people, hey, watch out for the drop bears.
Yeah.
They'll drop on you when you're walking under the trees. These things,
honestly, I saw one go out, the two of them. One was climbing down and kind of sat on another one, and their claws came out. I mean,
they do have extremely sharp claws, but it's like a weird thing with them. Like, they don't do much.
Yeah.
They might be one of the laziest.
Isn't that why they eat eucalyptus? Is because it's just
there.
Yeah.
It's just there. Like, yeah, it's honestly like they might be some of the like laziest. They sleep almost the whole day.
Yeah, sounds nice.
Sounds really relaxing.
Andy's spirit animal. It's like, oh, so you're a fun guy. You got a big personality. Like, what's the Isotopes locker room like? Are you guys cutting it up and having fun all the time?
We got a really good bunch of guys.
Nice.
Everybody gets along. Everybody likes to have fun. Like, they're a really good bunch of guys, and like they keep it pretty light.
Who's the guy who's able to turn everybody up a notch?
Ooh.
Who brings the energy? Who brings the vibe?
Besides Forrest.
That's a good question.
You could say you.
Nah, it's definitely not me. I'm pretty quiet throughout the games, to be honest. It's normally one of the position players. Like, it's normally always one of the position players. But honestly, like, all of them are pretty good. Like, with that, like, Sam is like, he's really good with being able to just like keep everything going, no matter what's happening. He's been around baseball for a while, and he gets it. And like, I think a lot of the guys in our team do, and I think that's why we got a really good bunch of guys. Like, so honestly, it's probably all the position players. Like, they probably pick up the pitches sometimes.
Nice.
Like, they can get everybody going.
I was assuming you're going to say a relief pitcher. You got to be an insane person to be a relief pitcher at this level.
It's tough. It is tough because I've done both. Like, I was relieving. I had a few relief appearances this year. I had a few relief appearances last year. Spent almost the second half of the season doing that. It is a different game. The bullpen's a lot of fun though. Like guys enjoy the bullpen. Like ideally, you're not in that game for 5 innings, 6 innings, so you just kind of hang out.
You got to play, had the honor of playing for Oakland last year in their last season.
I did.
What were the vibes like, knowing that was it?
Yeah,
like
it was kind of sad, to be honest, because there's been a lot of things about that season, about that stadium, I guess. But when you were in that clubhouse and you were with those guys, like those guys wanted it. They were awesome guys. I wasn't with Oakland the year before. They made me feel welcome. They were awesome. And the stadium itself has a lot of memories. So like getting to be a part of that was awesome. Like that was incredible. I wouldn't change that for the world. Like I got to debut at home. Like it was awesome.
Vegas has to have the craziest airport in the Southwest, right? Considering that there's actually people that live in Vegas that don't go to the Strip, all that stuff. But the airport's like LaGuardia, basically. It's crazy there, especially because it's always busy.
It's always busy. It doesn't matter when you land or when you leave. It is busy. But it's just always like I think they talked about last year having like 3 or 4 million people traveling in and out of Vegas each month.
It's wild.
Yeah,
it's so wild.
My late father-in-law always said if you needed to get a direct flight anywhere, just go to Vegas.
Yeah,
get out of Vegas. Anywhere.
Vegas. So last year we would fly direct everywhere because we had the luxury of that.
Sure. No, it's incredible. Well, first time on the program, Jack O'Loughlin, man. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The concourse at Rio Grande Credit Union Field is rocking. Going to be a full house tonight. Get out here and support your Isotopes. More sports and sports adjacent content when we get back. You're listening to 2 Men On 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. Special thanks to Isotopes pitcher Jack O'Loughlin for joining us on the program. Had a lot of fun with him. Cool guy.
Yeah. He warmed up. I think he thought we were a lot more serious than we actually are.
Oh, don't ever think that, please, because that would be incorrect. The Lab is rocking Rio Grande Credit Union Field at Isotopes Park. Happy Isotopes fans as far as the eye can see. A lot of people walking around with some watermelon walk-offs. That's fun to see here.
Can't go wrong with those.
Cute kids in their Little League jerseys making the way around the field. That's cool to see. Brock Purdy getting paid. That's cool to see for Brock Purdy. RIP, future of the 49ers. You are now dead and gone. You have mortgaged your future on the last pick of the draft. I hope you enjoyed it while you had it. 49ers are dead.
So, you think it's just that? You think they're just done like that?
They can't afford anybody else now. 5 years, $265 million. If you're keeping score at home, that's a $56 million a year.
Pretty good amount of money.
He's getting paid top 10, but he's still, I think he's like 7th or 8th. I'm at least happy that he didn't go grab like the total max. But if you're the 49ers, you could have drafted a quarterback who would have been a much better prospect than Brock Purdy, and then you would have been able to go and pay your team and stack the roster the same way they just did a few years ago.
Yep.
But now they've put money into the quarterback. So now, although Debo's already gone, I mean, you're still paying Trent a lot of money. You're paying McCaffrey a lot of money. Ayuk, I believe he's still there. So Kittle. And then that's not even talking about the defense, who, when the 49ers were at their best, they were a very, very good balanced team. Their defense was the best in the league at the time. For a few years straight, the 49ers were the best defense. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa,
sure.
Greenlaw, like those guys were insane.
Yeah, I think this kind of marks the end of their run. And look, I don't want to sound too negative. I like the story. Mr. Irrelevant goes to a Super Bowl, plays lights out. Like, it's a cool story. But he is not a top 5 quarterback. He should not be getting paid like a top 5 quarterback. Should have signed a team-friendly deal because, in my opinion, all the success of Brock Purdy's career so far has been the absolutely stacked roster all around him, the great coaching all around him, and they set him up for success. But when he stepped into that role, he was able to succeed. I don't see why somebody with a similar story to Tom Brady didn't take the Tom Brady playbook and sign a team-friendly deal so you can surround him with talent and keep this run of the perennial Super Bowl contending 49ers going. Doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Yeah, but in his, sorry, Andy.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think in a way I think he's like 7th or 8th highest paid. So I think in a way he feels like he did, although in comparison to what his rookie contract is, he did not at all.
Well, yeah, he was basically working for the team for free, like his first couple years in the league. So when you do your salary cap average of what your salary cap hit is, you take away your biggest contract and your smallest contract, and everyone's in the middle. They didn't even count his contract because he was the least paid player on the team. The starting quarterback of an NFL football team, his paycheck didn't even affect how much salary cap room you have. That's how little he got paid.
Well, they're living a different lifestyle now, so we'll see. We're going to see the real skills of their GM and see if he can somehow manage to. I mean, you're going to have to try to put together a better team with less money because Purdy's not going to be better just because you paid him.
Or throw a lot of passes to yourself. You know.
Yes.
In his defense, that's really cool that he can afford property in San Francisco now. Congratulations. We're gonna go more. We're gonna go to more into this contract and where he lands with starting NFL quarterbacks when we get back. And of course, 6 o'clock we got Boise Isotopes Josh Sushon. You're listening to 2 Men On 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This
City. Welcome back to 2 Men On. Welcome back to 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. The boys are live from Rio Grande Credit Union Field at Isotopes Park and having a lot of fun with it. Cute kiddos everywhere. Andy, let me describe to the friend of the show what I'm seeing right now. This is, I'm not sure what Little League they play in, but I know that they are the Pirates, and these young Pirates walking in front of us. Not only are they wearing Pirates jerseys, they have fashioned themselves with fake mustaches, and they're carrying around swords.
Fake swords.
Thank you for clarifying. Those are indeed fake swords, Andy.
Fake mustaches, real swords.
Okay, well, oof. If they were real mustaches, I'd be worried about what the parents are feeding them. Your boy, Dak Prescott, Zay, is the worst contract in all of sports, makes $60 million a year for some reason. Then after that, there's some good quarterbacks. Next is Josh Allen at $55 million a year. Tied with him, Joe Burrow, $55 million a year. The slightly overpaid, unproven Trevor Lawrence, $55 million a year. And probably the best quarterback in not only the history of football, but at least current football, Jordan Love, $55 million a year. Tua Tagovailoa, $53 million a year.
That was good.
Jared Goff, $53 million a year. And then Brock Purdy and Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts, all making in the lower $50 million range a year. I will take any quarterback I just mentioned over Brock Purdy and take that as a compliment and say that's including Dak Prescott.
I might add, 2000 was the last healthy Dak Prescott season. Threw for more yards than Lamar Jackson. Had 10 more total touchdowns than Lamar Jackson. 2 less turnovers, higher completion percentage, and a higher passer rate. Now, that was the season that got Dak Prescott his contract, and with him having CeeDee Lamb and Pickens, he's going to have another season that looks just like that. Now, with that being said, the 49ers, the 49ers are in a very, very tough position. They're in the same position I felt like the Cowboys were in a little bit the first time we paid Dak, where you've been winning these games on a very, very beneficial contract, and then all of a sudden it's time for this quarterback to get paid. And deep down, the 49ers, there's no way they don't believe that Dylan Gabriel couldn't do exactly what Brock Purdy does. Now, with that, I know Brock Purdy's great as far as he's a great locker room guy. He's that typical first one in, last one out guy.
Sure.
The coach's pet. The guys in the locker room love him, but he's just not worth that much money, I don't believe.
I think the 49ers messed up really big when they didn't trade Brock Purdy right now when his value is never any higher. They could have got a big play wide receiver, a disruptive defensive end, and took one of these young quarterbacks to do the exact same thing that Brock Purdy can do right now. Instead, they give him $53 million a year.
And they could have gotten a guy that has a better running ability. They could have added a whole new, Brock Purdy's a pocket passer. He can move, but there's better options in the draft, I believe. I believe there were better quarterbacks in the draft.
I don't know, just spread it out a little bit.
Well, that's always good advice.
Yeah, you could have used Shanahan's offense and dink and dunked it all over the place with Shadur Sanders in the 5th round.
Come on.
Van Nunley, Andy Lyman, Zay Johnson back at the studio. And when we get back, voice of the Isotopes, Josh Sushan. You're listening to 2 Men On, 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Fred Sloan.
I don't know if I like
Produced by Zane Johnson.
Are you kidding? You Thai boxing it? Later tonight, strikeout, RBI double, walk, and sacrifice buttons. 4-4 tie game, bottom 9. The 0-1 pitch. On the ground to third. Pass Lopez down the line. Here comes Boone, and the Isotopes have won it. Ryan Ritter, the walk-off hero. Final score tonight, Albuquerque 5, Tacoma 4.
Welcome back to Two Men On. Welcome back to 95.9 FM AM 610, the Sports Animal. And if you didn't recognize that voice, well, you don't love baseball in Albuquerque, New Mexico, because that was the sensual, loving
voice of an angel.
Voice of an angel, like a hug from grandma. But in that moment, very excitable voice of Josh Sushan, voice of the Isotopes. What a game last night. And what a call from Josh Sushan.
It was a fun game last night, back and forth. How about this? The Isotopes, you guys familiar with the term Maddox, as in throwing a Maddox?
I'm familiar, yes.
The Isotopes nearly had a cumulative Maddox. A team Maddox. They threw 104 pitches last night. That's it. In 9 innings, they threw 104 pitches.
Incredible.
0 walks.
That doesn't happen at this altitude ever.
Seriously, 0 walks. Yeah, it's a good game, fun game. And, of course, a really good ending.
That walk-off call was, of course, your Isham Dental soundbite of the day. Isham Dental, abq.com, $50 denture repair. Just about every insurance, Medicare, Medicaid they can take, and they can do it in one single solitary day. Get a hold of our friend Scott Isham at Isham Dental, abq.com. You can go right on the homepage, fill it out, and they will set you up with an appointment. They're the best in the biz. We love them so much. As we always do, as is tradition, we are having crosstalk with Josh Sushan before we hand it over to the Isotopes radio network, media network,
multimedia
network,
multimedia network,
multiple medias, thus the name,
multiple media,
multiple media,
mediums of media.
I think if you pluralize, I don't know.
Okay,
don't listen
thank
to
you,
me.
Andy.
Don't listen to me.
Josh Sushan, can the Isotopes take that momentum from a big walk-off win into the game tonight?
Well, they're going to have to face a former American League All-Star, not PCL All-Star. They're facing George Kirby tonight. Kirby's probably only going to go 3, maybe 4 innings, depending on his pitch count. It's probably going to be his last outing on the rehab side before he goes back to the Mariners. And that was shoulder inflammation. So we'll see how far he gets, and then we'll see how many relievers we'll see after that.
Probably all of them. Yeah, we're going to throw the whole team at us tonight.
That's what they did yesterday. They threw 7. And how about this? 5 of the 7 were older than 30. I called them the gray Nears instead of the Rainiers.
Incredible.
I thought the boys would be happy to hear this pun. The gray Nears.
Sushan, that is why you're the best in the biz, baby.
I'm just trying to learn from the boys about all the puns.
Yeah, your pun game is getting better and better. Thank you for the shout out. We had the honor of hanging out with, by the way, quick segue, George Kirby, MLB All-Star. The dude can go. If you're a baseball fan, you're already here at Isotopes Park listening to us in the elevator or the restroom. Don't miss the first 3 innings.
Yep.
Because you can see a big league baller go, and he is pretty damn good.
And he throws a lot of strikes. I think he had the lowest walk to 9 inning ratio each of the last 2 years.
Boy knows the strike zone really well. Another guy who knows the strike zone really well was with us today, Jack O'Loughlin.
How much do you like him?
Oh, just a blast.
He's fun.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I mean, here's the other question. Have you ever met an Australian who is not a fun, good dude?
I think they're batting 1,000.
Rupert Murdoch?
Okay, excellent answer.
Touche. I've yet to meet a baseball player from Australia who is not a fun, good dude.
Russell Crowe had too much fun there for a while. Yeah. A little too much public affray for one Aussie, but that's what they're known for. Yeah, he was a blast. He did great on the program, and he looks like a dude. Like he's going to be contributing not only the Isotopes, but probably the big league club pretty soon.
Well, he was with the A's last year in the big leagues, and what makes him such a valuable guy is that he can do any role.
you can, I mean, most of his starts have been like, hey, Jack, what are you doing in about an hour and a half? Want to go in inning 1? Okay. Right. So, I mean, he's been the ultimate spot starter, long reliever, like whatever role you need. A lefty who can get righties out. So, I mean, I feel like he's the type of minor league free agent the Rockies should be signing, right? Just like the versatile guy.
Sure.
So, I mean, look, Carson Palmquist making his major league debut today, right? Palmquist was supposed to start, it's either yesterday or the day before. They're kind of blurring all together. But congratulations to Carson Palmquist, right?
Sure.
I mean, we keep seeing guys go up and get an opportunity, and then it's all about whether or not you can seize that opportunity and stay.
Josh, we were in the press conference today, basically, saying goodbye to Jordan Pacheco as he joined his buddy Warren Schaefer up in Denver with the big club. What does his departure mean for the clubhouse and locker room here for the Isotopes?
So it's interesting because at first it's just joy, enthusiasm, right? Someone who's just universally respected, liked as a human, as a coach. Hooray, he's going to the big leagues. Yes, let's go. But now it's like, man, he was a really good hitting coach. Like, what are we going to do now, right? He was a really good hitting coach. So we had an interim hitting coach this week. When we go to Reno next week, we're going to have a guy by then. We have Aaron Munoz, who is going to be the full-time hitting coach for the rest of the season. Okay. So it's going to be an adjustment, right? He's going to do his best to put his stamp on the team and try to just keep going with what Jordan set up. But let's be honest, it's a huge difference. Huge. Yeah. I even noticed it when I'm around the batting cage before games because Jordan is just so full of positive feedback to guys, right? Yeah. Say they have a miss hit down the right field line, and he's like, nobody plays there, right? Say you just miss it, it's lands on the warning track, he's like, sack fly, right? Say there's a ball in the gap, someone might say double, and Jordan says, nope, triple with your speed, right? Or like, say you do like a nice line drive in the gap, and he's like, how you do that? Like, he is just so full of positive reinforcement and just energy. And I noticed, I'm like, man, we're gonna miss the person, the tactician, and we're gonna miss just that.
Yeah, I think he added an extra special element, not just his prowess as a baseball coach, but an Albuquerque guy.
Yeah.
So all these new players coming up and down, in and out, like he's able to help these players not only traverse the city of Albuquerque, but the culture of New Mexico.
Yeah, he's like the mayor of Albuquerque for all these guys who've never been here. And he's like, yeah, I'm proud to be here. This is where you go eat, right? Like, this is what's up. And I think that has value, significant value.
Is it fair, Josh, that I got guilted and shamed to take my Reindeers hat off?
Yes.
It is? Okay. I'll take it.
So he still has a Tacoma shirt on.
Well, I'm not taking my shirt off. That would be even more inappropriate.
You usually got to pay extra for that. So he got guilted and taken his Tacoma Rainiers hat off, which I thought it was hilarious, by the way.
Who was it?
Yeah.
We won't say.
Was it a Walkman?
No.
No. It's a good thing you didn't. That's a big boy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of human you don't want to offend right there.
Correct.
But Andy spent, 3 or 4 years of your life in Seattle and then like 40 in Albuquerque.
I know,
but still rock the hat.
Look, I would do the same. If I was in Tacoma, I would be rocking an Isotopes hat.
Okay, just a counterculture guy?
Yeah.
Sure.
Contrarian,
just gotta let people know that I know other cities than the one I'm in.
All right, we talked about, George Kirby going for the Rainiers. How's the other matchup stack?
Before we get to that,
okay,
let's start Treehouse.
All right.
Okay, we've had Lance McCullers Jr. when we were in Sugar Land.
Yeah.
We had Clayton Kershaw when we were in Oklahoma City. Now we have George Kirby here. We've had a ton of relievers who pitched in rehab assignments. We just had Ezekiel Tovar and Tyler Freeman and Aaron Chung. I'm actually curious for you guys. There's so many injuries in baseball nowadays. Are rehab assignments still like this big deal? Do you guys feel? When there's this many, like at once upon a time, it only happened a couple times a year, and it was like a huge deal. Now it's almost strange when there's not at least one guy that's in a game. I'm wondering, just in general, like how big of a deal are these things, or does it depend on, like I was surprised at how few people were in Oklahoma City to watch Clayton Kershaw pitch.
That's wild to me.
Like
he is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I was surprised at how
he's in town. They would pack the crowd.
I was surprised at how few people were watching Lance McCullers Jr. pitch 30 minutes from Houston.
because a lot of people forgot that he existed. It's been 3 years since he played baseball.
Touche.
Yeah. No, I think it's cool. Like if there's a big name in town, whether it's, for the Isotopes / Rockies or for the opponent, like for dorky baseball fans, like it means a lot to me. Like I'm going to watch George Kirby pitch at least one inning.
Yeah.
I want to see a major league pitcher right here in my hometown. I think it's a really cool element that gets added to AAA baseball.
Yeah, I wonder if younger fans I'm thinking back to when I was a kid and the Dukes were the team, and like Darryl Strawberry came to. I mean, he was doing different rehab, but he came to Albuquerque and played for a little bit. I mean, you see some of, and it's a cool thing for a kid to say, especially from Albuquerque. We don't have big time professional teams like other cities do. To see those guys show up.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I was probably like 10 years old or something. My grandparents lived near Modesto. They took me to a Modesto A's game before they were called the Modesto Nuts. And we were just there. We had no idea that all of a sudden I hear, and starting pitching tonight for the Bakersfield or whatever team they were playing, Mario Soto. And I was like, Mario Soto? I have his baseball cards. Like Mario Soto is at John Thurman Field in Modesto. I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I always remember that. And I just think about like how cool that was. Oh my goodness. I was in the 4th row when Mario Soto pitched in Modesto.
Sure. I mean, it's a huge deal here too. People still talk about Manny Ramirez.
Oh yeah.
People still talk about his rehab assignment.
Let's talk about Cody Bellinger a couple years ago.
Yeah, Manny Ramirez's stint here in Albuquerque was so big. He wanted to come back for Home Run Derby X.
Yeah.
Like that's how he knows like he's a name here.
Yeah. Anyways, what was your question? Who's pitching for the Isotopes?
Sure.
That was a long segue. Who is pitching for the Isotopes tonight? Bradley Blaylock is back here. So the Rockies.
Mookie's little brother.
Yeah. Rockies, a flurry of moves today. 4 new players added to the roster. 4 players taken off the roster. Blaylock was optioned back down a couple of days ago, so he's back in the totation starting for us tonight. But Tovar, Shunk, and Friedman are all off the injured list and in the major league, speaking of the rehab guys.
That's cool to see a guy like that. I mean, when Tovar was here 2 years ago, like before he got ripped up, he was here for what, 3 games?
Yep, yeah. 3 home games, 2 road games, and then he got called up.
You get the opportunity to catch a rehab assignment, like you said, Sushan, or you get a chance to see one of these rising stars that we all know is going to be up at the next level. Take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, Tacoma's got some guys too. Their shortstop Cole Young, he's one of their top prospects. Their catcher Harry Ford. Both those guys were high school guys. I think they're both either 21 or 22. When you're 21 or 22 at AAA and you're doing really well like those 2 guys are, those are significant. I think each one of those guys, I think, has a chance to be an all-star in the major leagues. Again, it's Cole Young at shortstop. Harry Ford is the catcher.
Who do you got on the pregame?
I sliced and diced some of the Jordan Pacheco stuff. Of course, I took my questions and then a couple other people's questions.
Did you use mine when I only asked him about Colorado green chili?
Somehow that did not make the cut. Out of a 22-minute conference call, I cut out Van Dunley's question about green chili.
How dare you? Rude. It's a packed house tonight. Yeah. This is cool to see.
Yeah.
Now that's the traveling music.
And that is the traveling. I had to turn it up to make sure it was, because it is rocking here on the car.
All right, boys.
Good
Josh,
to see
you have yourself a good call. Andy Lyman, thank you so much for joining the program today.
Happy anniversary to me and my wife.
All right.
16 years.
Hey, back in the studio.
Happy anniversary, Andy.
Friends of the show out there, you have a great weekend. We'll be seeing you on Monday. Make sure you don't miss a second of the action every morning on the opening drive with Jeff and JJ. And you know it. We love you, Burke.
There.
These